when it comes to a government shutdown, my preference is shut it down. Well, what are you talking about? Well, before we get into that, I do want to take a moment and thank Jace Medical for not only supporting this channel, but providing what I believe to be the best prep you could possibly buy, which is emergency antibiotics for your entire family and a year's supply of the chronic meds that your family members may need in the event of any sort of catastrophe that prevents you from accessing your daily meds. You got a year's supply just sitting there waiting for you. Most years around this time of year, there's some sort of a threat of a government shutdown. And I want to take a moment and just speak to really the benefit of a government shutdown, because obviously our government is way too big. And when the government shuts down, they don't really shut down. What they keep is they keep the vital things, the things that are necessary to run, the military, basic components of the IRS, transportation, things like that. Those things stay on. And I really have found myself really often hoping that the government just stays shut down. Because if you're running on the vital things, have military, have a good road, what else do you really need? Because if we were a socialist country, we would fail with a government shutdown. But as a democracy, we would very much succeed with a government shutdown, because I'm just going to share a little history about Kansas City. During the Great Depression, Kansas City was being run by the Pendergast organization for the most part. And there were many laws passed during that time in Kansas City that there weren't any, you couldn't give any money away for social reasons. You couldn't give money to the homeless or like that. So the government could not. So when the federal government gave cities millions of dollars to, boost their economy and that sort of thing, most cities passed out cash to people, and then they stayed unemployed. But not Kansas City. What Kansas City did was they couldn't use that money to just give it away, so they used it on building projects. Some of the greatest buildings in Kansas City were built during the Great Depression. So while the rest of the world was faced with the Great Depression, Kansas City thrived to some degree during that entire time. And it was because there weren't any social giveaways. All the money that was delegated to support the system was to build things, to create jobs, that sort of thing. So, again, as a socialist country, we would fail in a government shutdown because now all the giveaways are gone. But if we just run on the military, have good roads, and kind of stay out of our business, that's really how this country was built. At our strongest, this country is when we just relied on our own two hands and feet, like we just relied on self. The work that we could do with our hands created this great country, not these social giveaways. And that's really, in the end, most of what you're losing in a government shutdown is the social giveaways. Most people, the unnecessaries, so to say, to keep the government functioning. So keep it shut down. I mean, again, that's my opinion, is shut it down. Keep it shut down. This is unnecessary spending, unnecessary control of the population, unnecessary social giveaways, creating people that instead of working, they're just laying around. This is something that we have to kind of open our eyes to, that the reality is when you give a man a job, he succeeds. If you just give him money, nature is going to say, well, just sit around. That's how that works. So that's my opinion. Shut it down. Keep it shut down. That's when we function the best, in my opinion. Any thoughts or insight, definitely put that below. I would like to take a moment and say, if you feel called to support this channel through Patreon, that link is also below. We achieve what we achieve because of the support from patrons. Again, that link is below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests, so never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, love guns.